Now what I'm going to be showing you today is how to catch some big black bass and tell you what lures to pick, what colors to pick, what lures to stay away from, whereabouts on the lake you should be looking for your big black bass, areas to stay away from, things like that. So we're just going to start here. Give you tips on how to catch them and what techniques I use. So we'll do that. Just type my name here. If not, or still is, the best fishing game ever made, and as far as I'm concerned, it's still the best fishing game. So we're just going to go to Lake 1, start right off from the beginning. Areas I like to check out right off the start is around here. Start. And as you can see down here in my fish finder, we got a big one. Sometimes you can get skunk, they'll throw a rainbow in there or something else, maybe a pike. Pikes don't normally show up in the first level. You get a lot of sunfish, stuff like that. I'm going to show you the different kinds of lures to use and to lure them in and get your bass to bite. As you can tell, I never use this lure anyways, so I just snap my line. Ones to use most are these three down here, the most. These ones here will really catch a lot of your bass you're looking for. So cast it out one more time. Now a good tip too is to catch a few small ones at the start. We got something big here. It's not a bass, so we'll just reel it in. I think we got skunked on this one. And even though when you get further off in the game, sometimes your fish finder will find somewhat of a big fish on your fish finder, and if you stumble upon a fish that isn't a bass and you think that it's the bass that was found on your fish finder when you start, it doesn't necessarily mean that that was the exact same fish on your fish finder. So even if you find a big fish, there could be a bigger fish that could be a black bass nearby too. So don't leave right away, just check around. See, there's one up there, and it looks like a black bass. So we're just going to cast it one more time. Best thing to do is reel in sinks to the bottom, get to the top, click down on your D-pad as the lure rises to the surface of the water. This way here, it'll antagonize them a little bit more, and there you see we have 3 bass, and there you go. Now what I like to do is when the fish is running, click down on your D-pad as if you're pulling up on your fishing rod, and that'll make him jump up out of the water and basically wasting a lot of his energy and getting him to jump up out of the water. So just keep clicking down, and as you can see my arrows in the bottom bar here is going back and forth. That's from clicking down on the D-pad, trying to get him to jump out of the water, as you can see there. And it also helps you to keep him in a good, and he's shaking it off, and he shook it off. Right there, my D-pad wasn't working properly. It's kind of worn out. My bar wasn't moving the way it was, the way it should. Now, normally when they get off the hook, they don't come back, especially the big ones. And I don't know why my D-pad is the way it is, but it wasn't registering, and that's how he got off. So, as you can tell, he's not back in the same spot. He has moved. And what we're going to do is we're going to check out some of the other places. This point here on the first lake is where you're going to catch a lot of your huge bass right off the start. So just keep checking that area once in a while. And up in this rocky area where it's rocky around here, this is where you're going to catch your big bass right off the start. And as you can tell, I got a beep in my fish finder already. I'll back up. And there we have another big fish on the fish finder. So we're going to check it out. Quite a few in here. As you can see, there's a lot of small fish, a lot of small bass. But what we seen on the fish finder was a big fish somewhere within this area. Could be a bass, could be a rainbow trout, a big sunfish. But you just never know. As you can tell, there's another bass down here. So there is a lot of bass in this area. Just move your boat side to side. Well, he's not a sunfish. He's not a bass either, so... but this big guy's here somewhere. And when you see a small group, doesn't necessarily mean there's not a big bass in there, because sometimes when you get a school on your fish finder, there could be that big bass lurking, and that's where they kind of trick you into wanting you to pass that area of the lake and not being able to find the big bass you're looking for. So always keep that in mind. Small fish on the fish finder does not necessarily mean there's not a big bass lurking around. I'll catch this little guy. It's